Hey there, I'm Curly, and welcome to Unfiltered and Undiscovered, the podcast where three music lifers dig into the songs, the stories, and the legends of music that may not have crossed your radar yet. But if you're new here, let me set the scene. I'm the punter, the guy who swears that the best music, the best Australian independent music, was in 1986. I've got the record collection to prove it. Now, joining me each week, I've got Braggy. He's a lifelong muso, a dreamer that's still waiting for that one song of his to go viral. He knows his stuff and he loves digging into lyrics. And of course, we've got Rossy. Rossy, the roadie, the manager, and the guy with a story about every band that's ever plugged into a pub PA system anywhere from Perth to Parramatta. Together, we get unfiltered with the best undiscovered artists across Australia and occasionally the world. And occasionally, we also talk a whole lot of rubbish around artists that we already love. Let's get into it.
Hey y'all, I'm Alison Asarch from Nashville, Tennessee.
Hey, I'm Sean Fraser from the Ritzy Kids.
Hunters, this is Johnny from Rail Motor.
Hey, it's Shane from Blind Season.
Hey, it's Rob Stanier, and you can check out my music on all the streaming platforms.
Check out my latest music on all the streaming sites.
Check out my debut album on all streaming platforms.
Check out our new debut album.
Check us out on Spotify and Apple Music. And you're listening to our friends, Braggy and Curly.
And my
Rossy.
favorite bands from Australia.
My two favourite podcasters,
Braggy and Curly.
Braggy and
Rossy.
Curly.
On the
Unfiltered and Undiscovered Podcast.
And Rossy.
So, hey there, everyone. It's Curly, and welcome to episode 197 of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast. Fundamentally, we are three old blokes with one obsession, and that's music that matters. And as always, I'm going to introduce our co-hosts. I've got Braggy from the cold confines of Adelaide, where the Crows overpowered Port. And underneath, we've got Rossy, who I think Chooks got done on the weekend. How are you, boys?
Yeah. I'm fine, thank you.
Very well.
Thank you for that introduction, Curly. I really appreciate that.
Well, the Dragons lost, so, you know, we
fair
just
enough.
get used to losing. So footy tipping, let's start with footy tipping. There has been a major swing here, and just Braggy just keeps gallivanting away with it.
Well, I finally figured out that freaking NRL. So I think, yeah, don't back the Roosters or St George.
Yeah. That
you and I, Curly, both only got one wrong though in the AFL, and that was
truly.
And that was because you went for the Lions,
Yeah.
and I went for Melbourne.
How disappointing were the Lions? But
I think that was great that they jumped out of a second spot so the Crows could fill that gap.
yeah. Now, so that's footy tipping out of the way, gone. Over the weekend, I did some work in our playlist for our listeners. As you know, we've got Unfiltered, Undiscovered, Every Damn Song playlist. We've got Undiscovered Country, Fresh Female Artists Breaking Through playlist, and we've got our Covers You Really Need to Know About playlist, and all of them are now not just on Spotify, they're on Apple Music, Amazon Music, and YouTube Music. So wherever you get your fix, you can listen to the amazing music that we've featured on our show. So
Well done, Captain.
Well,
yeah,
Yeah.
I'd been meaning to do that for a while, and I found a nice little easy way to do it. So it was really positive. So didn't take a great deal of time, but now on all four of the major music platforms, which is awesome. Hottest 100, gentlemen, went down over the weekend. Initial thoughts? I don't want to talk about it too much because I don't want to be.
I liked it.
Yeah,
I liked it. Yeah, I thought it was good. I listened to the last 20. I listened to the first few, and then I had shit to do. But I listened to the last 20 with my daughter.
Okay.
Who I think we discussed is right in the age bracket. She's 27, so she's right in that major demographic. And I like. I mean, I didn't know all the songs, but I didn't think it was any bad songs.
Look, anything that works with the ABC going back to just encouraging local content wins me.
Yeah.
We need and that's the key, local content, because like the ABC was forced into being like a bit of a, like competing with commercial networks, which is not what it should do. It should be backing Australian acts of all types, stripes, just local art. That's what it should be doing.
I always
that's
thought,
what they should be doing.
Sorry, Rossy, I always thought the Triple J had like a quota, 40% quota to play Australian music. Whereas
that
I
was killed. That was killed.
Yeah.
And there's a bit more of a focus these days on major label stuff on Triple J that bothers me too. It used to be indie stuff, like really, really, like very much independent stuff all the way through from its original charter when it was playing Skyhooks and Finch and all those bands back in the 70s, all the way through. Independent acts don't have that same ability to come in and walk into a radio station and say, "Play me." They need a leg up, and it's Australian grassroots cottage industries. There's everyone who's put a guitar in the back of a station wagon and driven 200 kilometers for a gig for $20. They're the ones who need that support.
Absolutely. That's why we do this show.
Yeah, that's right. But all those labels, they don't. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hopefully this will change it because so many people were texting me when it was on. Like so many people were listening to it. So I don't know. I think it's good. Yeah, look, I like. It may not be my wheelhouse, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's not about me.
I'm with you, Rossy. It supported Australian music, and it creates discussion amongst people who may or may not agree with some rankings and whatnot.
Yeah.
But all I will say is that the Port Adelaide supporters obviously got behind, and that's why we sing "Never Tear Us Apart" as number one.
That's hilarious. Their song was number one, and then they got flogged. But really, I'm going to say something controversial. Really, you guys are talking about some of the older stuff. I don't think there's really a lot of difference between the Veronicas, Untouched, and Lime Spider's Slave Girl.
Hey, look, those girls, boy, can they sing. Those girls can sing, man. They're talented women, and they've worked really, really, really hard. They've had some breaks. They've had some really big breaks, but they're still working musicians. You can't I don't begrudge them at all, one bit.
I listened to the deep lyrics behind Untouched the other morning too, and I thought, there's a deep dive there for Braggy, isn't it? I think the verse is just more sounds than words. But anyway, great song. So our special guest, Chloe, I hope you're still with us. We haven't put you asleep. But Chloe,
we're done. We're finished with the sports.
We're done.
No, I'm enjoying every part of it. It's fine.
Oh, she's so gracious.
Let me introduce her then. So Chloe Marks is a Brisbane-based singer-songwriter and multi-instrumentalist known for a raw storytelling, powerhouse vocals, and electrifying stage presence. Born in Innisfail, far north Queensland, Chloe's been immersed in music from a young age, starting on drums at 5, guitar at 8, and singing her whole life. So welcome to the show, Chloe Marks from Chloe Marks and the Mayhem. I love that name. I love that
Thank
name.
you very much. Thank you.
Kelly's kind of alluded to it, but I like to start off to find out where it... actually, I got a two-part question to start. I'd like to find out how it actually started for you. Like, when did music first become a thing? It seemed like it must have been pretty young. I'm guessing maybe your parents might have had something to do with it. And my second part of the question is... August is nearly upon us, and then that next month's coming up. Are you going to be okay?
Well, answering the first part, you are correct. My parents were both musicians, not full-time, not, I guess I wouldn't say fully working musicians, but definitely had a lot to do with it. My mum was drumming all the way up until she was about 8 months pregnant with me. So she often talks about how she transferred her skill to me, and that's why she doesn't drum anymore. And my dad was a bass player and a sound techie guy for a very, very long time, many years.
The most important member of any band.
Exactly. Well, yeah, exactly. I have a very have a big appreciation for anyone that can do sound, because I studied it and still don't understand it. And my dad talks about it like it's so easy, and I have no idea what he's talking about. But yeah, so I grew up with it very much around me. And I, the first time I got on drums was actually because my dad was setting up a stage and he just needed someone to hit, the drums. And I was about 4 or 5. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, I actually really enjoy this. And all of a sudden I can play a beat, and I just didn't stop. So for me, it was something I was just sort of born into, but then I never ever wanted to stop. I never wanted to do anything else. I never studied anything else. It was just music the whole way through my life. Yeah, and your second question, September, yes. It's an interesting month for me. It does hold quite a bit of lots of memories and anniversaries, and some good, some bad things. But if I'm being honest, the song, when we recorded it and released it, it's actually been it sounds silly, but quite a healing process. It's like I'm kind of excited now for September because it holds this all, completely new significance now because of this song. So it's actually, very exciting.
That's awesome.
That's great. So basically you learnt drums by going kick, snare, snare.
Yeah,
hats.
correct.
Yeah, great. So you knew the parts.
But,
that's great.
Yeah.
You're better than a lot of drummers I know already.
Yeah.
Actually, I watched a couple. You go. Sorry, Rossy.
Yeah. So what instruments do you prefer playing now? Like, what's your favorite? Because you're a multi-instrumentalist. If I've said that right, what's your favorite?
Honestly, I still really enjoy playing drums. But I think mostly at the moment it's drums because I don't get to play a lot anymore. I still drum for different bands here and there, but most of the time I'm on my guitar and I'm singing, which in itself I really, really love. And I have, I've kind of got to that point where I'm sort of progressing again, and I'm starting to understand a bit more about guitar and all that sort of stuff. But I really do. I'll always come back to drums. I love it. There's something so good about it.
How does that must really influence your songwriting, coming from that rhythm sort of background?
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm kind of lucky in certain ways that I have learnt so many different instruments and different ways to play, because sometimes I'll have lyrics in my head, other times I'll have a melody, other times I'll kind of have there's one song we wrote recently that I was just driving home in the car and I had a groove in my head. I know that sounds silly, but I was just kind of blocking. I was like, oh, okay. And I got my phone out, and I when you actually listen to the original recording of my idea, it's just me going, oh, like it's like me making noises. And then I took it to the band and I was like, this is my idea, let's do it. And they're like, yep, cool. And they kind of understood. So it's definitely, between drums, guitar, vocals, everything, it's all plays into how I write.
There's a bit of a sidebar as I listened to your stuff today. I was here listening to it with someone else, and we're listening to some of your stuff, and your drummer's got it going on. Like he's got some chops, man. He's got some serious
very,
chops.
very good. That was a big deciding moment for me, because like I said, I am a drummer, and for all my other bands, I have been the drummer. Even the bands that I've sung in, I've still been the drummer. So for me, I remember going to my bass player, Ellen, and I said to Ellen, whoever the drummer is, it cannot be any less than perfect. And Ellen just said, you need to meet JP. And Jacob Peterson, our drummer, is just phenomenal. And he's very similar to me creatively. So we always there's never any arguments. He's always, everything he plays is exactly what I can hear in my head. So it just works.
I think one of the good things about being a multi-instrumentalist, and I think Rossy will agree with me here, is that if you've got a basic idea of the other instruments, like one of the most important things of playing in a band or playing live especially is to be able to listen, know
what other people are doing,
to what other people are doing. So many people don't do that, just focused on what they're doing, and that that you lose the groove that way. So be playing drums and playing guitar, well, I like you write songs from a groove, because that makes sense to me.
September, definitely.
To me, listening to September, for me, the thing that stuck out The songwriting's great. Your vocal chops, loved them. I love some of the runs. I loved a lot of that stuff. And it's real trad. I love that. I love the trad nature of it. The lap steel blew me away. I love the lap steel. But the whole groove of the whole song got me, like, I really enjoyed that, you know?
Yeah.
The lap steel, man. Oh, I can love it.
Yeah, that was really cool. That was actually the producer, Michael Moko. He played the lap steel on that because we had, when we did our first song, we had another lap steel player. His name was Ben. He came in and recorded that over. We had pretty much finished the song and he came in, but it was like a whole other day that we had to go into studio to record that bit. And when we went back into Skip September, I said to Moko, the producer, I said, you know, I'd really love steel on this again. And he was like, "Oh, I've got one out the back. I can just, you know, fiddle around." And I was kind of like, you know, if you're not confident, and next thing we got, because he said he's like, you know, I've been fiddling around with it. And so I was actually a little bit concerned. And then we got the track back and I was like, this is incredible. Like, what do you mean? So yeah, Moko is very talented. It's very, very cool.
I just love the overall sound. The whole vibe of the thing was great. And like, what's the story with the clip? Well, wait. I was waiting for the resolution. I'm like, okay, what's this?
So the song itself is I wrote the song basically when I was going through a separation of my marriage, and obviously quite a tough time in my life, and there was just so many different things going on, and like I said, the song is about just wanting to get through all of that and get to the other side. And when I went to the director, his name's Connor Sharp, he did our Carolina video, and I said, for Carolina, I'm not really comfortable in front of the camera. Get actors, get extras, get other people, like, get me off the camera as much as possible. So that was Carolina. And then when it came to Skip September, I said to him, this is quite a personal song to me. Like, even though everyone can kind of relate to it, and we have had people say, you know, this is my song for this reason, and, you know, all that sort of thing. For me, this was, like I said, quite a big part of my healing process and all that sort of thing. And he said to me, why don't we cover you in blood for the start, like fake blood, obviously. Why don't we cover you in fake blood? Thankfully,
that's how you feel. I guess you felt bloodied and broken. I guess.
Well, and that's what he said. Why don't we symbolically show your journey from obviously like this really terrible time in your life to where you are now? And so you can sort of notice it, but as the music video goes, I get cleaner in a sense. It starts to sort of dry and it starts to fade around like my neck and things like that. In the very first clip, every time, because we did it 3 or 4 times that first shot, we had our special effects artist standing behind the camera, and we would quickly finish and then she'd cover me again because it was drying so quickly. So I was, by the end of it, I was literally covered. It was just dripping everywhere. It was all over the floor. It was constant. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I love it.
I don't feel like going out. Everyone says I'm always down. My mind's full of memories I wish I could erase. I'm always late, I never sleep. Feel like I'm losing every inch of me. I need to move on and finally find my place. 'Cause I just need a little time to pass on my shit out and forget the rest. Oh. So can we skip September? I need it out of my mind.
I love it. I love how you come out. I love how you come out with a durry as well. And just let's go. It's so Australian.
It was the cheapest pack we could find too. Unfortunately for me, and we finished the shoot, and I was like, "These are terrible. Take them away."
Look, I love the sound too. You got that, and you got keys in there as well, which I think is really good. And I think, like in the what Jules has sent us, the little bio, it describes it as like Americana. I get that, but I don't know. I think I want to call it pub country because it's got that pub kind of rock. I know it's country. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I can see that. I definitely. It's funny you're talking about the hottest 100 before, and all I could think was I was a little bit upset that Crowded House wasn't higher in the ranks.
Yeah,
because
of course.
Love some Crowded House. So
that's songwriting.
One of the greatest songwriters ever.
Songwriting to the max.
Yeah.
I like your songwriting though. It's simple because we talk about like Carolina. It's got that. I love that. It reminded a little bit of like a Jim Croce. Jim Croce. I don't know if you know who he is.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Jim Croce progression there, where it goes to the F sharp.
Yeah.
You know talking about Rossy?
Yeah, there's some really sweet progressions in it. Like I kind of dug it.
It's bluesy. It's a bluesy progression.
Definitely bluesy, but still that sort of honky tonk bluesy sort of
yeah.
That's how I took away from it. And what would I know?
What do you think, Curly? Do you think it's a Sunday sesh sort of vibe?
I'm thinking Chloe's trying to say something and she can't get words in.
No, not at all. I'm just it's actually really interesting to hear I guess other people's point of view because I wrote it, so for me it just sounds like one thing, and it kind of gets to the point now. When I hear Carolina, I'm like, oh, I never want to hear the song again. We just, we sort of played it so many times, and we've I love that song. But it is interesting to hear, other people's opinion who have only just heard it because I've been listening to it for a year and a half now. So, long time.
Absolutely. Where did the name Chloe Marks and the Mayhem come? Has that been one that's been floating around in your head for a while, or was it a instantaneous thing with the band?
Well, yeah, it actually it's been floating for a while. I moved to Sydney for a few years, a couple of years ago now. And when I was in Sydney, my bass player again, so Ellen Hartwig was my bass player in my original blues rock band, going back 10, 12 years now. And Ellen said to me when I left, you can't leave Brisbane. You've always talked about fronting your own band. And I said, well, like life happens. I have to, went to Sydney. And Ellen said, no, you've got the perfect name picked out and everything. It's Chloe Marks and the Mayhem. And I said to Ellen, where'd you get that name from? She was like, it just fits. It's so you. And the funniest part is I brought that up with Ellen the other day during an interview. And Ellen was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. And I was like, you named the band.
Bass players, man.
But, yeah, she's got absolutely no memory of it. She's like, I was like, I need to go back through the archives of our conversations and find it, because I remember reading it and being like, that's a cool name, Chloe Marks and the Mayhem. So Ellen, our bass player accidentally named us, 5 years ago and doesn't remember. But the name is just very fitting because we don't really rehearse. We've had 2 rehearsals pretty much ever. We had our very first rehearsal, and then the plan was I said to the band, we'll do 6 months of rehearsals. We'll get really tired. We'll get really good. And then we'll get on stage. And we got a call that week and someone was like, I've heard you've got this new band. Do you want to play next weekend? Yeah. And we were like, all right, we're doing it. So a lot of the time I will send music to the band and just say, learn this. We're playing it this weekend. Even with our originals, I literally send them, a lot of the time it's just me singing and a guitar, and they make up their things on the spot.
That's so good.
So it always, we actually have never had any, touch wood, but we've never had any moments where I've gone, oh, this was a disaster. Everyone is just always, so focused and so very, very skilled musicians. So it is quite chaotic, but it's always a lot of fun. It's great.
Surely you run through them at sound check.
Sometimes I'll just be like, is everyone okay? And I'll have that moment of like, did anyone not look at a new song? Did anyone, we had a show a couple of weeks ago where JP, our drummer, said to me, he said, you've got a new song on the set list. And I went, yeah. He's like, you didn't tell us about that. And I was like, yes, I did. Told you many times. And he's like, all right, give me 1 second. And he starts listening to his phone and he goes, oh yeah, okay, got it. And then played the whole thing top to bottom perfect. It was just, I was like, all right, no worries.
I used to like him. I don't like him anymore.
Isn't that like that's so much fun though when you're kind of living on the edge?
Yeah.
If it doesn't go disastrously wrong, that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, there's a lot of hard work that still goes in behind it.
Sure.
And you know, we have put in lots and lots and lots of work in the background, and that's the only reason that I can kind of do that, and that, you know, we're able to function how we can, is because there's a lot of practice that has gone in behind the scenes. But yeah, there's definitely the new stuff we are writing at the moment. We actually did a workshop the other day for the first time pretty much in over a year. And it's a lot more complex. And we even said when we were rehearsing it the other day, we said we cannot do this on stage until we are tight and solid, because it will be a disaster. But yes, they're just very talented, very committed musicians. So it's easy to trust them and to know that they've got my back on stage.
I guess at the other end of the spectrum, if you rehearse for too long, you can get in your own head a bit, and then you'll listen to rehearse for too long and never leave the rehearsal room. So doing it that way, you've kept it really fresh, right?
Yeah, well, we're quite used, and they're all like myself. They're all working musicians. You know, they're all in other bands. They're all recording other stuff. We have all, I think, collectively, it's you know, I can't even count the amount of years if we combined it all together. You know, JP and myself have both been professionally gigging for, I think I've been gigging for about 15 years, and he'd be about the same. He'd be about 12 to 15. So it becomes, you know, all of that hard work 20 years ago, 15 years ago still pays off today. So yeah.
And so there's more songs to come. So are you it's just going to be singles, or this is like an album, you think? Or because we always talk on the show about, and Rossy's laughing because we always want to know, with the way the music industry is now, what are you looking to make a bigger piece of art, or is it just going to be singles?
I will admit, I was a bit shocked that the structure of releasing music now is very much single after single after single. We do have a couple singles lined up, but there is stuff that, even as we've been, you know, like I said, writing more together collectively, sitting down and putting more towards that, there's stuff that feels a little bit more B-side. And we've talked about how it would be really cool to run an album and to have sort of this journey through all of our music. So that's what we're currently working on. There'll be a few more singles, definitely, but the goal is we want to release an album. We want to do physical release. We want to do the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. So that's how it used to be, though. So nothing's really changed. Once people get back to making an album.
Well, you get the narrative, as we've discussed. You get the narrative of an album. You get the story from A to B, and you flip it over, and you listen to the second side, and the track listing's been thought about, and all that sort of stuff. It's really important too.
And there'll always be that B side, that B song, like you just talked about. There'll always be someone who goes, "Fuck, that's my favorite. That's my favorite."
That deep dive.
Yeah. Well, we definitely. I know one of the songs we were working on the other day. We were kind of sitting there, and I said, "This feels very different to us. It still feels like us, but it feels very different." And someone, I can't remember who in the band, said it feels kind of like Dire Straits, Pink Floyd kind of vibe. And that to me was like, I was like, okay, that's a really interesting, you know, it's very, very far from where we've come, but it's a whole different, you know, we're working in this different genre that we can play around with a bit more. If we have an album, we can do that. You know, we have the room to do that. So that's kind of what we're looking at. Everyone in the band is, like myself, really, really driven creatively. It's not just about releasing the music and getting the getting the plays or getting them. If we were in it for money and plays, we are in the wrong industry, to be honest. It's just not how it works. So, we often, even when we all get together, just hanging out, we will often just sit around talking about music, and all of us were just very much in love with it.
That's good.
Yeah, very much so. It's I'm getting a feeling, Braggy and Rossy, that we're starting to see a bit of a shift with artists that we talk to anyway, that are getting more interested in releasing that bigger body of work in an album, and not just consolidating their last 10 songs and their 10 singles that they've put out and saying, here's my new album. So I'm getting a sense that we're starting to see a bit of a, let's call it a vibe. I don't know if it's a trend just yet, but people are at least thinking that they want to get something out. They want to create that lasting impact that a longer piece of work like an album does. So are you getting the same sense?
Well, it's all that part of that music becoming a service instead of a commodity, like that people rent music on Spotify instead of buying it. And I think I think supporting the artists and buying records is really important to me. And I'm sure with you guys as well that buying records, like if you buy a record of someone, even if it's at a gig out of a suitcase, right, they're getting more than they'll get off a Spotify player. Like that will actually can make, like they sell 50 albums, it can make a difference to the artists going and doing the next recording session, right? It's helping the revenue.
The album becomes a bit of merch, doesn't it?
Now, it is. Well, that's what it is. It is. Sadly, we've all become merch salespeople.
That's all right. But what I want to talk about, I think with Chloe's music and some other artists we've had on, they call it Americana. I see why they're that, because it's like, Nathaniel Radcliffe and that sort of style. I don't know what that music is. It's it's not really country. But I think with the way country music is in Australia, there's so many festivals, there's so many opportunities for that style of music, more so maybe than the rock and other sort of stuff. And there's a lot more artists like this, like you guys, Chloe, and the girls and that we've had on from up in the northern part of Western Australia, like where the Teskey brothers, Yeah. And I noticed your kind of signs a little bit of a take on the Teskey brothers as well.
That's what that's one of our old signs. We just got a new sign done up, so that's the old one. That's where it lives now. It's funny you say that. That's funny because you literally named two of my favorite artists, the Teskey brothers and Nathaniel and the Night Sweats. They're incredible. Well, we kind of I guess classify ourselves as Americana because it is such a broad genre. It's very it fits into country, but it also fits into blues and you've got such a big area to play in, and that's kind of, like I said, everyone in our band is so passionate about their music, and we're not just releasing music because for the hell of it kind of thing. There's so much storytelling to be done. There's so much, we get in a room and we just start playing, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, this, we're all jamming together, we're all moving together, and there's just something about that, and which is why I firmly believe we chose some incredible, like the best people for this job in my band, because everyone just works so well together. But trying to put us into one genre has been actually quite difficult, because even, like I said, when we're writing, it's like, that doesn't feel like us, but it feels like us. It's, completely different from the last song. And, we're sort of starting to explore different ways of writing that are a little bit less country and I guess more bluesy, but then a little bit more rock and less country, but it all sort of falls into country. So it is quite hard to be genre specific. But I also love that country and Americana in general, like I said, is such a broad genre. So you've got the room to do that, to just write how you want to write.
Breaking my heart, 'cause every time you leave, it just tears me apart. She's the devil in disguise, how they look in her eyes. She's gonna fool you, folks, and love you right, don't you be surprised when Carolina goes and breaks your heart. Every time I lay my head, I can't help but see brown eyes staring straight back at me. I always gonna say, well, not today. I'm not gonna give you my soul. Then Carolina walks in and I lose all control. Every time I think I'm out, she just reels me back in. Hook, line, and sinker, my patience is wearing thin. So pack up yourself and get gone. Then Carolina walks in and I lose all control. Well, Carolina, you're breaking my heart. 'Cause every time you leave, you know it just tears me apart. She's the devil in disguise, got that look in her eyes. She's gonna pull you close and love you right, don't you be surprised when Carolina goes and breaks your heart.
Yeah.
I really think the strength of Americana, I was listening to Mike Campbell from Tom Petty's band on a podcast this week, and the strength of its songwriting. That's what Americana's really, if there's any thread through it, it's quality songwriting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think that's what I see in what you're doing. I'm seeing, songwriting that's done with care, right? And that's important.
Yeah. Well, you get the voice for it too, Chloe.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I did like watching you looping too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
9 years ago it was. It's clever,
Yeah.
though. Yeah.
I still do it today. Yeah, I love it. I love building on all of my music, so I do it when I do solo shows.
Yeah.
I found Scotch and water.
Scotch and cider.
Scotch and cider.
Because I did look. That's why. Because I looked on Spotify first and I found a band called Scotch and Water. I said that doesn't sound right.
No.
That's not heavy enough. But Scotch and cider. I found a clip of you guys playing. You're pretty young there, playing fisticuffs. You're playing the drums. And is that the same bass player that you had?
Same bass player and one of the same guitarists. So Matthew
it's a good song.
Matthew Beagley. Yeah.
It's kind of that southern bluesy sort of New Orleans style thing. But then all of a sudden it breaks into like this funky breakdown.
Yes, yeah. We loved we loved kind of bending that genre. Getting outside of that as much as we could.
Come from,
Yeah. No, it was good.
So you've been in a couple of different bands, Chloe. So and once again, just looking at the PR stuff, a lot of them seem to be under the heading of genre bending or something.
Yeah.
So we've got Scotch and cider. What was the other one? Anti.
I love the name for that. I couldn't find anything on that.
Anti-music
music club. Yeah. Tell us about that one.
Yeah.
So Anti-Music Club is my bass player again, Ellen Hartwig, and our keys and backing vocalist, Madison Rossetto. So it's a trio. So it's us three, and we are just a covers band, but we actually do. It's called Open Terp Night. So we have interpreters come on stage with us we do it once a month. It's because Madison Rossetto is actually a certified Auslan interpreter. So she's very she's very active in the deaf community and always looking for ways to to get more involved. And so we started doing Open Terp Night. So once a month at one of the Brisbane venues called Brooklyn Standard, we literally play a full show. Do our usual thing, except we have an interpreter on stage, we the whole deaf community shows up. It's a big thing. So anti-music,
wave their hands.
Exactly right. It's so much fun, and we originally started just as a fun thing, and we just get on stage and act crazy and have a lot of fun, and people really love that. But it's actually grown into something quite special, and it's so different. It's really, really outside of anything else we are doing, because I know like Ellen Hartwig, she also plays in other country bands, and we're all kind of in various bands where it is predominantly country or Americana or something similar. Anti-music is just like we play like Kylie Minogue and all these different and just really go nuts with it. We love it. It's a lot of fun.
I've got a really good mate in Sydney who's in a band called White Knuckle Fever, who's with a guitar player from a band called Machine Gun Fellatio, who were like one of those big 90s bands. Yep. But Celia is a big Auslan girl as well. That's what she does. She's been doing Auslan for years and years. She's also a scientific illustrator, but when you go and see her perform, and while she doesn't always use Auslan in the act, you can tell that there's a big But Celia is incredible and does so much work in the Auslan community, which is there's a lot of that, there's a lot more opportunity in that space now.
Yeah, definitely. It's something that even when we talked about it, I know when Madison first brought up the idea and we started going to venues, we kind of laid the question out, like, why isn't anyone really doing this? It's
That's
something
right,
you've started to see. There's Auslan interpreters on the big stages now, and that's what Madison she was actually doing for a long time. She interpreted for Ed Sheeran, Chris Stapleton, and she was either side stage or had a specific section, and that's how she kind of got into the music side of it. But yeah, it was kind of like, we have all these incredible venues around Brisbane and all these incredible musicians, and we're all working, we're all doing stuff, and there's not a single Auslan interpreter on stage. So yeah, and it is because it's quite hard to, I guess, organize. There's a lot of organization that goes behind it. There's a lot of hard work just to have someone on stage with us. But yeah, it's a great opportunity, and we love doing it. And it's kind of our shows have sort of morphed from us getting on stage and just doing what we love to something more important, and we have a lot of fun in that now.
So good. We've had so many people on the show that through music work to help people who are challenged in some way, and even with the people who have trouble with hearing, deaf people. It's amazing what music can do.
Definitely.
But a lot of creative people, we find, have got pretty big hearts too, right?
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, that's incredible. I love that story.
Imagine trying to be Auslan interpreter for like Aussie Crawl, like for James Rain. That would have been hard.
I've done fallback for him. That's hard
enough.
Was he in the hottest 100? I don't know.
I don't think so.
Aussie Crawl?
No, I don't
think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Kylie should have been higher, though.
Kylie.
Yeah.
Now, Chloe, you've written over 400 songs. So,
yes.
Boy, is she tired.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, you need a hobby. So
that's so it's funny you say that. I actually said that to someone the other day. I said, I feel like I need something outside of music, because all I do is music. It's all I've ever done. I had someone many years ago when I was in uni, actually. He was a songwriter, but he got into writing for jingles, and he had done lots and lots of like very famous songwriting, and just was kind of like, yep, that's all I want to do. But he said to me, the best thing you can ever do for your songwriting is treat it like an instrument. It's to say, you practice it, the more you do it, the better you will get. And you can write 100 terrible songs, but at least you know that maybe 5 or 10 will be good. But you've got a lot better chance of writing a great song if you are writing as much as you can. And so that is something that I really sort of took away. And I remember when I first started doing it, it actually felt like when you pick up a guitar for the first time or something. It was actually quite frustrating. I was like, this is annoying. But the more I did it, the easier it became. And even like, I was going through some stuff today, and I found an old songwriting book, and I was flicking through. I'm like, this is so different to anything I'm writing now. But it's constant. It's something I do pretty much every day, if not every second day. And sometimes it'll be a verse and a chorus, and then that'll be it, and I'll never touch it again. Other times it'll be a full song. So Skip September was a full song in about 20 minutes. I literally sat down.
Funny how that happens. Yeah, it's funny how that happens.
And you can't. And I think some people hear that and they're like, oh, there's no way it's possible. But it's,
yes, it is.
I can't explain it any other way than the song literally just happened. And there's other times, Carolina, I had the chorus for a long time. I sat on that chorus for probably 6 or 7 months, and then was kind of like, I like this so much, I need to build around it. So I actually wrote like this way. I had to start from here, and then I wrote the edges, which is, usually for me it works opposite. So, but it is, I have so many. I have like 4 or 5 songwriting books and I always just pick one random one, and my phone is just absolutely full of voice notes. Yeah,
make sure you back it up.
Yeah, I've lost a fair few over the years.
Yeah,
unfortunately, but yeah.
So Chloe, when do you find is that like is there a time of day, or when you like sometimes like I write a few songs, sometimes for me it's a shower in the morning for some reason, something just comes to me there. You said before when you were driving before you had a sing. So is there a certain time of day you reckon it's best for you? Are you morning creative, or is it more later at night?
I'm definitely more of a late at night person.
Okay.
I it's usually when everyone else has gone to bed and I can sit for a second, and then a lot of the time I'll either have an idea or something that like you said, I'll be in the car and I'll quickly get an idea down, and then I have time to do it. I have had a few songs that I have dreamt about. I've literally had dreams, and I could hear a song and I would wake up and be like, oh, quickly, and like write it down as quick as I can. Or I'll have weird voice notes where I'm half asleep and I quickly sing it or something like that. But for me, it is more of a nighttime thing. But I think that's also because I'm a working musician. I'm always nighttime is, when I'm doing things. So, yeah.
So do you ever get...
Sorry. You go.
Sorry, do you ever... I'm fascinated by this fact that we've got all these songbooks or, and I'm presuming they're handwritten. So, because that would be a real challenge for me going back and actually trying to read what I wrote, because my handwriting is just woeful. But do you ever go back and think to yourself, I wrote something about something, I'm sure it's in Songbook 2, and then going back and trying to locate that particular song, or once it's in there, it's either up and present and ready to go, or it gets archived? Just help.
It really depends. Like with my voice notes, that is always easy to recognize when I'm going to go back over something, because I'll name it. A lot of the time, if something comes to me straight away and I go, I really like that, I'll give it a name straight away, even if it's not the name. Like Carolina originally was called The Curse of Carolina, and we cut that down. But when you go through my original voice notes, it says The Curse of Carolina, and then the first time I actually put it into a book was The Curse of Carolina. When I go through the books, weirdly enough, I can remember what books like which one is in which. And I will remember, I'll be flicking through and go, oh yeah, that one was cool, I really liked that, and then I'll flick through and go, oh my gosh, that's terrible, and just like pack that one away forever. So but yeah, I find putting pen to paper always helps. Even if I start on my phone or I start kind of in my head, it'll eventually make its way to a book. But yeah, the first EP that I ever released was called The Book of Secrets, because I used to walk around with my main songwriting book at uni, and people would be like, oh, show us a song, and I'd be like, no, not happening, you're not seeing, this is the book, no one's touching this. So yeah, it's definitely sometimes songs will go directly in the bin and they will never be heard from other people. Other times you kind of know you've stumbled across something, which is rare, but it's nice.
Who do you trust most to bounce it off first? Who's the person that's going to tell you if it sucks? Who do you
Usually it's one of my bandmates. Madison she's quite honest, so she's always a good person to. She'll do that. It kind of varies on the type of song. At the moment, our lead guitarist Matthew Beagley, he is one of the first people that hears things, because I say to him, here's my idea, write a riff, and he's like, yeah, cool, done. And so we build on that. But yeah, it's a long process that takes a lot of people.
I've got a mate who talks to me about his songwriting much the same as you, and he said that you capture everything, all your ideas, and he said when it's great to go back through when you're looking for something, it's like ripping yourself off, he reckons. But
yeah.
But for you, it seems like there's a lot of sweat equity that's going into your songwriting chops, right? The work is the work, right?
Yeah, definitely. And like I said, I think that's where we are quite lucky in Mayhem, is we you know, every single person in our band has been a working musician for over 10 years. It's such a long history of, you know, hard work, lessons, gigs rejected, 1,000 different problems, issues, all sorts of stuff, you know. And I think that's what kind of makes us our band, that really gives us something. But yeah, even with the songwriting, the band, you know, we have worked so well. When I write a song, I bring it to the band, and then they add to that, you know, and it takes that to the next level. And to be able to trust, you know, the 4 people around me, to know that they're gonna, you know, we were playing something the other day, and Ellen actually played a wrong note, and all of a sudden we all stopped and we looked at Ellen, we were like, that actually sounded good, whatever that was, we're keeping that. And then all of a sudden the song changed from there. And yeah, so it's such a, it always starts with me, but the process is you know, becomes a group thing.
Extraordinary.
I got to remember to what Chloe's idea to write it down on the when I use the recording thing on my phone, because I look at mine, it just goes new recording number 54.
22, yeah. I was thinking there's extraordinary discipline there, because I know about 30 guys who do exactly the same thing, Braggy.
But then
you're the one who does it.
I like that.
Yeah. Well, that's why I got to the point where at one, and I always go through and I'll delete the trash ones, the ones that I throw away. I kind of get to the point, there's so many, I'm like, that'll be right. But yeah, the last time I did a cull on my phone, there was 481, and I was just, and they were the unnamed ones, and I just went, I can't do this, and I had to delete them all and start fresh.
Oh, there could have been some gold there, Chloe. So
yeah, I know.
So
next time.
Looking at your upcoming gigs, you are, when you talk about being a working muso, I mean, I'm blown away. A lot around Brisbane and the Gold Coast. We got Lefties on Saturday, August 2, so that's coming up this week.
Yep, this week.
You're at the Gold Coast the following weekend. You're at Chattahoochee's. I've got to get there. I'm looking at that date, Saturday, August 16, and I'm thinking, I might grab my beautiful wife and go to Chattahoochee's that night, because I've heard so much about this place. So then you're playing Honky Tonks Friday, August 22, Moreton Bay Food and Wine Festival, August 23, and that's just August. I'm tired just reading them out. So you're certainly a hardworking band.
Yeah. We just love it. You know, any opportunity we get, we try and take it wherever we can, you know. Chattahoochee's is great. The second we stepped on that stage, we were like, this venue is incredible. It is so well done. It's you know, and Honky Tonks is the same. That was the first venue we played at as Mayhem, and I think we were the second band. Like, they had an opening night, and then we were the night after. So we've been with and you know, we play at Honky Tonks. Usually it's anywhere between 2 or 3 times a month when we can. So we've kind of, you know, been with Honky Tonks from the beginning. But yeah, we pretty much are playing every weekend, if not, you know, twice a week when we can. We love it. We live for it. Just
around Brizzy, or are you heading interstate? You heading down Rossy's way down to Sydney? The capital of Australian music, as Rossy says.
We try and do a bit of touring around when we can, but we actually the plan was to do more touring this year, and we had everything set up to go to Grafton and Coffs Harbour, and then the plan was to try and get to Sydney on the way back, and, you know, kind of fly back around. The weekend that we organised that was the weekend that freak cyclone hit
Sydney,
southeast Queensland, and it flooded. It literally flooded between here and Grafton, and so we couldn't go. And then when we tried to reorganise it, you know, we are, like you said, our calendar is so full that it was you know, quite difficult to fill it in. But we're in the process now of looking at it next year. So hopefully next year will be the year we get on the road.
And
that's
with
great.
The modern world. With the modern world, how hard do you have to work the socials yourself? Are you the social media manager?
I am the social media. I'm the everything manager, which is a lot of work. Social media is a complete mystery to me, because I think I'm quite I'm a little bit old school. Like I said, I just love the music. I love just getting on stage and playing. So for me, the rest of it is white noise. But you know, we definitely try we try get there with our social media, but it's a lot of hard work. It's just another thing you have to work at.
It's a hungry, remorseless beast.
Oh, you need another person.
You do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'll kill you.
But someone that understands the band, so you're still talking in the right voice. So
gotta have the right tone.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
exactly right.
Yeah.
100%. Chloe, it has been amazing speaking with you today. You're actually our very last artist that we speak to before we do. We're only 3 shows away from our 200th episode, which is just incredible that we've made it to 200 episodes and that people are still listening to us and watching us after 200 episodes. So it's been an amazing pleasure speaking with you. Where should people check you out? Where's best? And don't go to the, what was it? The Scotch and Water page.
Scotch and Water.
Cider.
Definitely our website or like we said, social media. Everything gets posted through all of that. So it's just chloemarksmusic.com, or on social media also Chloe Marks Music. So all of our shows get posted there. All of the other stuff that we do, you know, all the Auslan stuff, everything in the background gets posted there as well, just to Chloe Marks Music. And we try and keep that up to date as much as we can.
Awesome. And we'll make sure we've got those links in our show notes. So and as I said, absolutely awesome for you to join us. As I said before to our listeners, we are approaching our 200th episode, and we're having a bit of a lead into that because we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to focus on ourselves, right? So it's all about us for the next couple of weeks.
It's all about Curly, Braggy. It's all about Curly.
Skip a heavy time.
Well, no, it isn't, because the next week we are doing a mystery song deep dive. So the 2 boys will show their expertise. There is a super special show coming up after that, and I will give a hint. Suspicious Minds. So it's going to be something a little bit different. And then our 200th episode, the boys will be given their brief over the weekend on what that's going to be about. But I can tell you it's going to be a show not to miss. So so that's what's happening over the next couple of weeks, and I hope you are excited. So if you've loved what you heard, please hit follow, share the show. And of course, dig into our playlist, which you can now find on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, and Amazon Music, because we like sharing more artists, more stories, and giving you more reasons to listen. At the end of the day, we are unfiltered and undiscovered. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks, Chloe, for joining us tonight, and we will see everyone next week. See you guys.
See ya. Thanks for having me.
So this is called Baby All the Time.
This episode of the Unfiltered and Undiscovered podcast. If you've liked what you've heard, please do us a favor, hit follow, leave a rating, and share it with a mate who needs some new music and a little bit of laughter in their lives. We're all about discovering the songs that actually mean something. So if you're into raw talent, great stories, and music that hits you, right in the guts. You're in the right place, and we'd love to see you back again next week. Don't forget our Spotify playlists. Every damn song, every track we've ever talked about, rising female country artists and undiscovered covers. And just now, they're not just available on Spotify. You'll also find them on YouTube Music and Apple Music as well. Now, we will be back next week with more music, more stories, and probably some more arguments. But that's what keeps us unfiltered. We'll see you next week.